Ready or not. You all know.
All right, I'd like to call August 7th Fire Commission to order. Thanks everybody for coming. Jamie, you mind looking something?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here today, dear Lord, for this fire commission, dear Lord. Be with us and make the best decisions for this county, dear Lord, and just keep everyone safe out in the field, dear Lord, and your holy and precious name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, can I get an approval for the August 7th agenda? Any kind of deletions or additions? Okay. Second. All in favor? All right. Can I get approval for the June the 26th, 2025 minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right. Got any citizen comments? No citizens? All right, move right along to the standing committee reports. What's going around tonight that's coming around to you? Since we had some change in officer changes and new members coming on and going off, we've made some changes. Kelsey, for the standing operating guideline committee, you are now the chair.
I wasn't going to say, I was going to tell her she doesn't have a copy of this, and I didn't think to email her a copy. Okay. Before the meeting, we'll get you a copy of it so you have it.
And those members up under her will be Matthew Harris, Toby Roberts, and Terry Ward. Under the budget planning and appropriation committee, I'll be the chair. Billy Morris, Jason Laney, and Billy Robinson. Strategic planning be Mark Carnes, he's chair. Jamie Gaynor, Justin McClellan, and Greg Nicholson. Apparatus and equipment committee, those changes was me chair. Freya Plowder is Chris Gardner and Greg Nicholson on the apparatus. And on the FERC committee, Ron took my place as chair. Eric Wynn, Terry Ward, and Todd Duncan. Can I get a motion to accept those? You're not on there.
You're not on there.
Okay.
Don't know how we missed that.
Yeah.
Well, several are going to be on there twice because we got more commissioners, we got committees now. The way that the numbers are odd, but we'll get that fixed, Joe.
Yes.
Everybody should be serving on at least one committee.
Yeah. Is there any particular one you want on it?
One more somebody on there twice.
When we got somebody double.
Apparatus work is that's kind of what I do.
All right, we'll work on that. All right, since standard operating guidelines, you got anything to report on it?
There's nothing to write for that.
All right.
Not really nothing for any of the committee. We'll say, after now, they'll be established and start those. Just so everybody understands, since the standing committees are part of the ordinance, any committee meeting has to be a notification. So there's got to be at least a 24-hour notification. We really have to do it a little bit more than that so that we can get it to the clerk council and they get it posted in the county building and notifications to the different media organizations that they take that to, so that it is then a legal meeting. Even though there's only 4 members on any committee, we still have to make those notifications. We did not have to do that until spring of last year when all that started. So we're working on a couple things about how to make sure we can keep things moving and get the committee and make sure we're meeting the Freedom of Information Act notifications and the law that goes on there. So there will be a little different process moving forward than we've been used to in the past. A lot more formal. So as far as notifications on meetings, that kind of thing. We'll try to do stuff by teams because that's recorded, so the media can still get access to it. but then there will be some in-person meetings. Now, we don't necessarily have to live stream those, but we will have to keep records of those meetings. They'll have to have minutes and everything else from this point forward with an agenda for each meeting.
Anything else?
No, that's covered that I covered. Unless somebody got a question.
Does anybody got any questions? All right, moving on to the old business. Discussion concerning the fire rescue moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, as far as, from my position as director and what we dealt with council, I think I told everybody at the last meeting in June, which is July meeting, the budget does have the McDonald Green program in it starting in January. I'm hoping that we're gonna be able to begin implementation of different things through the fall as we get set up for that. The captain's position, the one position that we had to add, there'll actually be 3 captains, but one of those we didn't have. So that captain position is actually in the budget for the full year. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to post for that probably in September, maybe October. That will be up to the county administrators when we're actually able to post it. They did put $50,000 in a line item to do any upgrades that need to be done to the house, particularly for buying appliances, furniture, bedroom furniture, that kind of thing, to get it ready to occupy and for people to be able to sleep there. But other than that, I don't have any more to report on it.
Is that gonna, you said in the fall, you gonna start on the house in the fall, or you gonna start?
I hope they
You
will.
gonna start earlier?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping we can start as quick as possible, since that line item is already budgeted. There's a couple things y'all and council have to do, and y'all with the administrators, that's outside of what we're doing in here, because y'all are the property owners, but once that gets taken care of, I think the rest of it should be able to get started.
Do you know when that's gonna start?
I don't know right now. Mr. Marshall's not here this week. He will be back. The county council is doing the Association of Counties Conference. They always do in August. So most of them and Mr. Marshall are there this week. He will be back next week. So I got a one-on-one with him Monday, and that was the first question I asked.
All right, anybody else got anything on that? All right, discussion on the, report for first due.
What he did. They ain't got anything? He didn't get back to you?
He did, but he didn't answer any questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what we talked about in, myself and Billy talked to Brian Colhoff. That's the representative we're dealing with now. Talked to him, I talked to him a week ago, and Billy and I both talked to him yesterday. There are some data point changes that NARIS is making that can cause some conflicts in First Due and most of the other vendors, because they're making changes to NARIS. They had some things done, then they're making more changes on the fly, and that all has to be integrated into whoever software you're using. Because even though when you're doing the reports in First Due, it's going to be called an inference report or a narrative report. You're just doing a First Due report. All of that data is being gathered on the backside that goes into the national reporting system. So we probably won't turn the NARIS portion. We won't go to that. We won't turn it on until maybe September or October. I don't know at this point. It depends on how fast NARIS gets done with their changes. There's not many, but First Due I don't think has it yet based on what he was saying to make the changes. Now, if you look at the website, First Due is going to tell you they're NARIS compliant and ready to go, and they are. But NARIS made some changes in July, I think, is when they made a couple changes. Because he told me a lot of information last week when I talked to him about NARIS particularly. So that we will probably hold up on. We are ready to move and begin to have Indian Land doing reports in the system. There's some things that we're doing that we may have to go back and touch reports again, because there's some things that we can't put data in yet. The other thing I need all of you all to take back to your stations is that on medical calls and wrecks and that kind of thing that we're working, people have quit putting the information on the patients that we contact and touch in the narrative or in the report. That's gonna have to go into the first due report when the narrative is turned on. It won't accept the report without patient information in it. So we gotta get back in the habit of doing that. You know, we went through a period of time where people did the narrative on a fire. If we had a fire, put it out, and they laughed about it and thought that was good. Well, that's not good, and it won't do. And basically now people have gotten into the habit of, there was a wreck, we extricated the patient, completed, turned over to EMS. That's not good enough. We've got to have more information. So, and when you're doing reports, you're gonna see what we're talking about, but right now it's about to drive Tony and Julie crazy, because they were trying to do reports and didn't have the information completed. So the system will not let you submit that report until everything, all the fields are completed. So we're having to work with that. Billy's trying to do some modifications so that we can continue to enter and get the reports done in first due, but there may be, because of that, there may be things we have to go back and touch. But as we're going into the people who are beginning to do the reports in first due, they're gonna need to be putting that information in. Indian Land will be doing that. The guys in here that are gonna start doing them will be doing the same thing. And as we begin to move it out into the stations and y'all figure out who's gonna be doing your reports or how many people are gonna be doing reports, they gotta make sure of that. But the person who puts the report in first due, if they happen not to have been on the call, they're not gonna be able to do the report. They're gonna be in the same shape that Julie's in right now. They don't have the information, they won't be able to complete that report. So please take that information back to your membership and tell them when they're going on the calls, you know, we used to get a lot of information in that narrative, the VIN of the vehicle, the names of the people, we got birth dates, you're gonna have to have that. We don't need social security numbers, but you are gonna have to have birth dates. So there's certain modifiers that have to be in there. Now when the reports, if it's handed out, that gets redacted out. Meaning the system takes that, it won't print that out if it's going out to somebody, but it goes into the narrative portion. Right now it would go into the inference portion, but it goes into the narrative portion. So all of that demographic information is important in the national statistics, because when you look at national stuff, it breaks down by age groups, and it breaks down by race many times, and it breaks down by other demographics. We're not doing census tracts, we're not doing income, but there's a lot of things that have to be in there, and all that's tied to the person along with their age. And the only way you can figure that is if it knows the date of birth. So, any questions on that at this point?
What do you do if it's a cardiac arrest
And they're dead?
yeah, you don't have date of birth, anything?
I don't know. Billy, do you know the answer to that question? I know you didn't
He
hear
was
it.
telling me about the redacted, and it's crazy, cause I ain't printed one off yet.
Yeah. Greg asked the question, somebody's dead, you can't get a birth date from them, ain't nobody there that knows it, or a name. What do? Do we know?
There's gonna be some that you can say that, right? We was talking with Josh about it earlier, right?
I think
You could save it.
you can just do it as a citizen and don't do it as an
Prime
EMS.
example, and
Do it as a what?
Just do it as a citizen and don't do it as a medical call, and it'll go through that way.
Okay, you do it as, not as a medical call. I don't know.
I'm doing CPR on somebody, I probably need to do a medical call.
They're gonna be,
When you put the
Well, I mean,
patient
there's
information
gonna be
in, you
them
don't put it
calls
as a medical
that
call.
we're gonna have to figure out workaround. I mean, no different than the water recovery we did yesterday.
Yeah,
There's gonna be them calls that, I mean, we have no idea who he is.
I thought it didn't require date of birth, I thought it required an age, and you could kinda halfway guess on that, but I'm not
I
positive.
think it's one or the other.
I think it will set an age if you don't have date of birth. It will.
okay,
But do you have the date of birth, the asterisk where we're required to put one in, or?
I do not.
Okay,
I got whatever
just on that.
whatever NIFRS requires. I can just
Okay.
say when the air turns on, their requirements are totally different than what NIFRS is.
and that's why we may have to touch them again.
Yeah.
So, but we gotta get things moving.
Yeah.
So, all right, any other questions?
there gonna still be any kind of training or anything for
Yes,
the training
there will be.
officers before this?
We've got training that we're gonna be sending out that you can assign your, that's why I'm saying you have to figure out who you want to report. There's also an AI component in it, and I'm gonna tell you something that might add confusion, but it's something that we hope we can use. Billy's trying to figure out right now how to make it work, but in the AI component, if you've got a microphone and if you're gonna be,
Everything but the desktops.
everything but the desktop.
Laptops have microphone and iPads have microphone.
And so if you're doing a report on that, when you get to the narrative, you can speak the narrative as opposed to having to type it in. So you can speak it, and the AI component is gonna take that and make the narrative for you, make it grammatically correct, spell correctly. I'm hoping they can understand Southern. Do that, and at the same time, that AI component will take all of the pertinent information you put in there and fill the report out for you at the same time. All those fields will fill out. They're giving us that right now. First off, because we've had a problem for so long, but that's something they're doing for a lot of their customers. But he told me last week, I don't have it in writing yet, that he will probably include that in our system just because of all the issues we've had getting up and running. That will be an extra charge to most customers. And at some point, probably will to us too, but we're gonna get it for free for a little while. Probably long enough to get to loving it, that way we'll have to pay for it. But that's a component that's gonna be a thing that's gonna make the reports a whole lot better. It's a whole lot easier to speak it than it is to type it. So all of that's some of that's in the training videos, some of it's not in there yet. But, there's like, what do we have, like 4 or 5?
The training videos when we send it out will be just in dealing with the incident report.
Yeah.
The tabs on the incident report.
And you're gonna see the name infers on it. Just don't let that confuse you, because it did me when I opened the first one up. I thought, this ain't a report, this is infers. So Billy and I had to talk right quick so I knew what I was looking at. So, but anyway, we'll be sending those out, and you can do those at your leisure. I mean, it's like a YouTube video. But there is gonna be some other training I'm gonna actually have going on. He'll probably do like a team meeting, but I don't know how many of those I can do, and I don't know if there's gonna be a charge at some point for some of that too. So hopefully we can get enough people trained on staff that we can go out there and help in the stations ourselves.
Really, is all the fire departments signed in now?
No.
The infers, I don't think so.
I got several. You know, you're talking about Neffers?
Yeah,
Darius?
into the narratives.
I'm not sure. I gotta go back and look at the list.
Yeah, I did not do that this week. I should have gone in and looked to see who all is and who all hadn't.
We was getting emails left and right, so I don't get that list and another list and got other stack of papers.
All right, moving right along to the fire report summary.
You have that in your
Yeah,
packet.
everybody has that in their packet. As you can see, we still have some missing reports, throughout the county. Y'all just remember the stipend checks.
Next one.
Yeah, the stipend checks that run from 7/1 of 2024 till June the 30th. These numbers, they'll affect those stipend checks for all the members who's missing reports. Okay, so if you can get the reports in to Miss Julie, so it'll help her and Tony out.
Yeah, all Brian can go by is what's in the system completed, so when he pulls his numbers to do the stipend.
Anybody got any questions on that, sir? Not you, Greg. All right, moving right along to new business. Discussion on fire commission budget.
Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission, you all have 2 sheets this time. What I did was I pulled the report for the total prior fiscal year, which ended June 30. That's the first one that you have, July 1, 2024 to 6/30/2025. So you can see what may have been left. I don't really think that's absolutely accurate. I think there's more been spent than that. I'm really worried it's gonna be in the red as opposed to where it sits. But, based on our own budget numbers. And then the second sheet that you've got is the new budget with the line items. And we went over last month what the new line items would be and what was in there, so, you can see how that's already started out and moving. I pulled this report, what day did I pull it? Yeah, I pulled it right at the end of July, before I went on vacation myself, so. This is like, yeah, there you go, the 23rd. I had that covered up with my own hand. 23rd is when I pulled this report, so this was expenditures probably that had come through the week before that. It's never right up to the minute accurate. But if there's any questions, I'll try to answer those.
Has anybody got any questions on the budget for the
I'll cover this. Todd asked me a question earlier, Todd Duncan asked a question earlier about the mileage and do we pay people to go to classes? We do not pay people to go to classes. The mileage is in here for the conferences that we send people to. Staff does not get mileage, so you don't have to worry about that. We're not taking it out of that. We're driving county vehicles. But when we send, particularly when we send the volunteers to the conference in the summer, they get both per diem and mileage. And the way the mileage is figured is from their house to the convention center and back, and 50 miles drive around while they're at the beach area. And so that all has to come out of that line item. And, you know, we know about what we spent. 10,000 should cover that, along with the per diem and the mileage. And also if we send somebody to another conference somewhere, and they're driving, meaning from the commission or something, and they're driving their personal vehicle, there may be some mileage there, but I would have to approve that ahead of time, and it's not something we're gonna approve after the fact. So, but if it's a county vehicle or a fire department vehicle, it won't be reimbursed. It doesn't work that way. So, any questions on that?
All right, any discussion?
One more thing on that, Mr. Chairman, is the catalog as far as budget.
Well, that's true, that's right.
The bid was open Monday. We're sort of different now, and I'll leave it at that. We were given the documents, and we have to, put everything together. Sarah's, working on that. Sarah Jane is working on that, and, we'll try to get it done and get it back out to you as soon as possible. There was 11 vendors that bid this year. Y'all remember C.W. Williams way back when, for those that've been here a while. They're back in the ball game. They bid this time, and 2 other vendors that, have never, bid before has bid. So we're working through that situation, and, just as soon as we get the numbers right and it gets awarded, we can make the catalog and the order sheets. But I have more information before, it'll be sent out before the next meeting.
I'm thinking in a couple of weeks we should,
It won't have to.
maybe by the end of next week.
Can't be like that.
So James having to do a whole lot more work than we anticipated her having to do. It's work we didn't have to do last year, so. And it's not because Sarah Jane's here, it's just it happened that way this year. She really did.
All right, any other discussion on up under the budget? All right, moving right along to call types.
Had a couple discussions with Robert, but nothing particularly that was involving most of the stations. I'm trying to think. He and I talked about a couple things the other day, and right now everything seems to be moving along pretty well. Has anybody got anything that's pressing that you know of that I need to ask a question about? Nobody has called me and told me anything. What I typically do is I listen to what's going on the radio, and if I hear something that sounds like an issue, then I speak to him about it, and then he goes and checks to see what went on the recording. He can go back and do that. That typically is what we do. I did ask a couple questions that ended up, they would have been like personnel issues for him. He guaranteed me he would talk to them, and I've not heard it on the radio again, so I assume he handled that. But he's just like me, he can't tell me what he does with his personnel, nor could I tell him what I do with mine. So once I pass it to him, I just trust him to take care of it. And I have not seen that to be an issue at all. Everything always gets handled. Problems get reconciled. I really appreciate the way he works with us, and he does not lag. He gets things done quickly. We did have a rescue issue that he and I talked about. Justin's aware of this. There was an extrication call, I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, I think.
Saturday, that was just south of number 5. Well, we always use the rule of thumb that if it's south of 5, the city goes as the big brother partner. In that particular call, Indian Land was called down. Well, if you look at the map where the call actually was, it probably was right dead center where it would have been. Both Robert and I think the reason CAD called for Indian Land to be the responding extrication agency was because it was Station 5's call. Their line goes a little bit south of number 5. So we think that's where it came in. He looked at the ESN, he sent me a copy of it. I've not been able to study it in great detail yet to see what I think about it, but he was of the opinion that that's why CAD pulled it. So that may be the way that goes. Without changing that ESN, it wouldn't be able to do a difference with that. And that would change a whole lot of other things if we try to change that one ESN. So just know that if there's a call just south of number 5 and you hear Indian Land coming, that may be the reason. So the main thing we want to do is get somebody there to get them out of that car as quick as we can. But it really ain't about lines for us, and I don't think anybody in here would say it is. But we want to make sure people get the quickest level of service that we get. And in that instance, when you look at the position on it, I don't think it was any more or any less had it been done the other way. So.
All right, any other discussion on call types? All right, moving right along to AFG grants.
Nothing to report on that.
All right. Moving to miscellaneous items, grant updates.
Again, nothing to report there.
Training report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, take a look at your packet. July, December classes are going smooth. We just finished Auto X this past weekend, start EVDT next week. So we're moving right along in our classes. With that, we have more people sign up for the Firefighter 2. So if you look at when I printed everything for today, the EVDT class did have 17. We had some people out of county drop down, so we got about 12 now. So we're good there. But Firefighter 2 will have more people sign up for those as well. So 3310, make sure you're a personnel member. 3309 to sign up, and then in the spring we're going to host a 3350, a shore-based water rescue class for that. So just make sure your personnel understand those prerequisites for that. In the September timeframe, we're going to have another Class E licensing. Just did one Monday and Tuesday of this week, and it was 11 personnel in that class. So good number in that Class E this week, and then we'll have another one in EVDT after this class is over. High school starts Tuesday, so right now we're looking at about 9 juniors coming in, and then when spring class comes around, seniors will come back to finish out their program, and they'll so we'll have right at 20 coming in all together graduating this year. So good numbers there. Big thing with that is make sure if you got someone that is looking to join the program or take the program, they have to be 16 at the start of the program. Right? That's a big thing they started pushing this year. 16 at the start of the program. That's we had a question about a student this year, and that's pretty much what they decided for that. So that'll be pretty good. I had to cancel the strut training on Tuesday. Didn't have anybody sign up, but I had stations call me and say, "Hey, where's it at?" And nobody sent in a registration. Right? So if you want to send in a registration, I don't know if you're available. So send in a registration, and we'll have the class. We'll have the training. But I had to cancel Tuesday because I didn't get anything, and I told that area we'll reschedule. But they got to send me registration, so I know that you have personnel available for that. All right.
Social media, same as always is, just let me know when y'all ready. I know Elgin is ready. Get ready. I had some phone calls with them back and forth. Try to make this during the week. Our marketing people, they're not as available on the weekends, so try to have this available during the weeknight, so you can as well. IST ideas, send me your IST ideas, what y'all want. Talked about this last month, but looking to decrease the amount of classroom and increase the amount of hands-on for your IST. So send me your ideas on that. Had Miss Sarah sent out a email last week about the upcoming first responder class. There's the dates for that, 23rd through the October 28th. They're going to do 2 Saturdays for this class. The last class, they asked about it. The last class said absolutely. And by doing 2 weekends, by doing 2 Saturdays, that cuts off 3 weeks of the class, right? So, just due to the time. So, have your personnel sign up for that, county registration form. And lastly, I talked with Jeff Oswald at the Firefighter Association. I'm going to host a 1% regional class here. It's been quite some time we've done that in the county. So just to make sure I say us because I'm a fire chief as well, us as fire chief and all of us are spending that 1% wisely so we know what we can budget for and what we can do and how we can budget for it, all right? So 1% will be hosted here in November time frame. I gave him 2 dates and apparently he's got a lot of birthdays in November, so one of them's his. So we're bouncing dates back and forth. So
You're buying the cupcake and put a candle on it.
so just look for that email for that, and it'll be hosted in this classroom right here. We'll set it up classroom style. We can have about 46 people in here for that. All right. So look for time frame on that 1% class. Any questions?
Anybody got any questions concerning training? Thank you, Greg. Alright, moving on to maintenance report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, it's been a very, very busy end of the budget year and start of a new budget year. We currently have Indian Landing before at Linwood working on it. It's got some wiring issues, and she goes back to correct his head. I already did, I cut my head already. It's out of service for right now. We've got City Tower 1 at Spartan Fire and Emergency Apparatus out of service due to a hydraulic leak, and we've got Indian Land Tower 1 at Spartan Fire and Emergency Apparatus, a hydraulic leak also. Some of it's most likely is going to be covered under warranty due to possibility of the cylinder on the city's tower. That's where we're at now on that. A lot of stuff happening, moving about. Parts are coming in left and right. We got a windshield for Tower 2, but we can't put it in right now because we can't take it out of service. So we've got parts sitting waiting for several things to happen. As we bid out, there's some stuff that's in the bid. There's 800 something items in the bid this time. But I actually bid like Kuzma parts and stuff like that. We were having trouble getting from vendors. So we went ahead and added them to the bid. So that's already bid. We can make a PO on them. We can get our parts in. So a lot of things you see out there, station is talking about air on their trucks and the Kuzma pump not running, and that's where we're at right now. We're waiting on this bid to open and finalize so we can order some Kuzma pumps, because they're a pricey item now. They're not cheap like they used to be. They're close to $1,000 a piece, and when you buy 3 of them, you're over our limit. So that's where we're at on them parts and things of that nature. I can tell you there's a lot of maintenance due throughout this county, and we're trying to chisel away with it as fast as we can. Just bear with us. We're trying to keep them rolling and pumping. We do have The third position is posted again. We did not have successful applicants last time. We did hire, one back and he quit the next day. Then we
Actually
offered
quit
it
that
to-
day,
Huh?
quit that
Yeah,
day.
that day. We offered it to the second in line and, it took him about a week and, he turned it down. So we opened it back up and it's posted back. And I can't remember when the date it closes. I'm wanting to think next week maybe, or a week after, I can't remember. But it closes and then we'll go from there on, filling our position. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Budget detail,
We've already done that, but I would add one thing. Billy, on the bid, I've not looked at the numbers. Are the prices increased substantially, or do
I
we?
have not had a chance to look at them,
Okay,
because all I did was move them to one document so she'd have it, and then we got, about three years ago, we went all electronic. on our
everything was
bid.
all electronic.
Great, because it's all submitted electronic. Well, the procurement accepted a hand or a, mailed in copy at the last minute, so we have to
I'll
enter.
I'll just tell you, Sarah Jane was just about finished with everything that Billy had prepared. And a little bit before 3 o'clock yesterday, we got a 600 item mailed in one that she had to redo the entire bid document to take care of.
So that's why it's taking so long. This has been,
She really got the short end of the stick.
it almost to the point we'd rather opened it like we used to, if y'all remember that, going line item by line item. When we went 3 years ago, all electronic, it made it so much easier to be able to push the catalogs out faster. Last year was a hiccup because of different, and allowing the bids to go out, and we thought we had it right this year, and, it has some hiccups again, so, we'll get it to you just soon as we can. But all in all, I haven't heard any, now, we're gonna have some tariff increases, but some of them come back. I know Akron and Elkhart had some tariff increases initially, and y'all know with COVID, prices didn't come back down, so, companies are using this as an opportunity to make more money. But I'll have a report on different prices as I'm doing the catalog of it. I understand the prices.
But if when we're able to get it ready, we think it'll be in the next week or two, we'll be calling everybody, give you the opportunity to come by and pick it up. Or you can, what we did last year, I think, was we allowed people to send somebody, we got a sign for it, but we allowed people to send somebody to get it as long as they told us who was coming. That way we knew who was supposed to be getting it.
anybody got anything else? Is that for your budget? Okay. Any station announcements?
I will tell you one thing, everybody knew I was planning to retire and be out of here in either August or September. Because council pushed the McDonald Green start date to January, I did ask, could I stay, and Mr. Marstall told me that I can continue on. So I'm planning to continue on until January. And again, I'm gonna say January-ish, because I'm trying to make sure that station is started and operating before I walk out the door, since it's been so long getting everything done. And at that point, I will be retiring at that point. So I haven't made that announcement. I have kept it a secret. There's a number of people who know it, but I felt like I needed to tell y'all tonight, so people, because a few people have walked in and said, well, we hadn't heard, we didn't know, we thought you were ready to go out the door. And so I thought, well, I need to tell people what's going on, so.
Thank you, Darren. Everybody remember, if you want a card with Tiffany's number on there for some fire prevention items, I'll have those up here. Remember to get up there if you need those. Anybody got anything else? Got a motion?
Second.
Second. All right,
look at it just a minute.
He said making this for cheap.
You good?
You know,